friends, welcome to my channel, and this is part 5th video in mastering Hyper-V Windows on a Windows server. So in previous videos we have seen how I have created my lab environment, how we have done the installation of Hyper-V's roles so on the Windows Server 2022. And in this video I'm going to focus on what are the basic stuff you need to do post installation of the Hyper-V role. So it's going to be common for all the Windows OS. Does not matter you are running Windows 2012, 2016, or up to 2025. So post installation task is going to be a similar. So let's see what is my demo environment. So if I show you, this is my demo environment. So I got two domain controllers, so Win2K 22 DC01 and DC02, and both are joined in my running. My domain name is lefthands-on.lan, and these are the IP address configuration of these machine. And I got two Hyper-V servers, so Hyper-V01 and Hyper-V02. These on these two servers I have already done the installation of Hyper-V role. So if you see, I'm running this environment on VMware Workstation. So if you have seen my last four videos, I have released on July 24, I guess. So after this, I was not recording any video, so I started this. I'm trying to start this series again. So just to give you recap, I'm running VMware Workstation 17 Pro on this machine, and what I have on this machine. So if I show you, so I got basically this configuration on my machine. So if you see, I got on the CPU side, I got Extreme Series processor, 7th generation, 3.5 gigahertz, which does the turbo or give a turbo speed up to 4 gigahertz, I think. And I got these this home custom build machine with the 128 gig of memory. I'm running few NVMe storage on which is where I am hosting these files, and I got one GPU card installed also, which is 3060. So this is my home desktop. So if you want to follow my videos, you need to make sure you have a required machine or configuration to follow my videos step by step while I'm doing this on lab, and you can do your hands-on practice on your machines also. So since this I have enough capacity or compute in my machine, I have given 32 gig of memory to these machines, but you can give it 8 gig or anything as per your machine configuration. So let's start. So these are the two domain controllers and DNS server, and this is my first Hyper-V 01. So I'm logged in with my Hyper-V admin account, which is my basically domain account, which has a admin rights. So I'm trying to log into both this machine. So just to make sure and make sure you are aware, I have logged in with my domain account. So if I show you who am I, so you can see labs hands-on and Hyper-V admin. So this is my domain account. So we have already done the Hyper-V installation on both the machines. So if I go now and click on tools, you will see here Hyper-V manager. And same way, if you don't want to go from there, you can come to search and you can type Hyper-V manager. You will see Hyper-V manager. So the very first thing, if you go and launch the Hyper-V manager, you will see this your server under Hyper-V server name under the Hyper-V manager. So it means these servers are added. So this is your local server. So if you want to add another server, let's say connect to remote server, and you need to type the name of that machine. So in my case it's Hyper-V02. So check name. So I got connected. So if you see here, I'm connected from to Hyper-V two as well. So just to tell you, if you want to configure if you have taken RDP of one Hyper-V host and you have a multiple Hyper-V host, you want to configure them, you can do it from one Hyper-V server also. Just you need to make sure the Hyper-V manager allow you to connect through WinRM services. So you need to make sure all the firewall ports are open and WinRM service is running on the Hyper-V host. Then you can connect via remote. So now if I click here, you will see multiple options here: Hyper-V setting, Hyper-V switch manager, and a few others options also. So the first one which we need to do a Hyper-V settings. So if I go on Hyper-V setting, you will see the very first thing, virtual hard disk. So where you are saving the virtual hard disk for virtual machines which you are going to create or run, and this is the virtual machine location. So by default it goes to VMs goes to program data, Microsoft Windows and Hyper-V, and the disk goes here. So it is always recommended to not keep any virtual machine files under the C drive. So what I'm going to do, on this machine I got only C drive I think. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark it OS drive, and I'm going to add one drive, hard drive. So make sure if you are running a production infrastructure, you have a secondary drive available, which is where you are going to save the your what do you call hard drives and virtual machines. So it says SCSI. So I'm going to shut down my machine, this virtual machine, so I can add basically NVMe drive to this as a D drive or H drive, where I'm going to store the Hyper-V files, virtual machines files. So just give me a few seconds. So now this machine is down. So if you have a physical machine, I recommend go ahead and create a separate RAID pool and give the physical drive physical RAID drive from the different pool, or maybe the physical drive which is not sharing with the OS drive. So in case if something goes wrong with the OS, you can recover you don't have any impact on your um, basically data drives. So I have added 500 gig drive which is as a NVMe on my machine. So I'll go ahead and power on. So the thumb rule is always make sure you have a separate drive for virtual machine files. So give me some time, this is going to boot soon. So here we are. I'm going to log into this machine once again. So I'll go ahead and check the drive first. So still I got only one drive, so I'll go and the disk management, and you can see my drive is available. Now I'm going to create a GPT drive, since GPT drive can expand more than 2 TB. So I'll go ahead and CD drive, I'll go ahead and give Z drive, and this one I'm going to give D drive, and I'll going to call it Hyper-V / data. So just to make sure the name is correct, Hyper-V data, it is me means we are going to store all the Hyper-V data here, so we are good. So now I'll go ahead and launch Hyper-V manager once again. So you will see here I got connected with Hyper-V 1, and I'll go ahead now and click here, and now if you see here I'm going to just change the drive. So I'll go ahead here and change the drive letter to D Hyper-V virtual disk, and here also I'm going to change to, or I'll go ahead and copy this and paste it here, and I'll go to virtual machine. This is good. Now everything else, for now everything else is good. So I'll go ahead and just click apply OK. So once again let's verify the things which we have made changes is applied here. So this is good, and these are the some advanced setting we'll review it later on. So this is good, and I think we are done. And now next and very important thing, which comes the networking settings basically. So this is my standalone Hyper-V host server. So I'll go ahead and create a basically local external switch by using this my physical single drive. So if you're running on production infrastructure, there is a different way to create a basically a switches, hyperconverged switches, and use in the virtual machine. But here I'm going to create leave it very simple. So there are three type of virtual switch you can create: external, internal, and private. So you can see the explanation here what these switches does. So if you see here, create a virtual switch that binds the physical network, whatever physical network we have, physical network to network driver, so the virtual machine can access our physical network. So if you create this type of network, your virtual machine can talk to other machines over the physical network, and internal is only going to be within this computer, and virtual machine will can communicate to virtual machines and the physical computer, and private is only going to be a virtual machines. So this virtual machine only used by the virtual machine which is running on this physical host. So our use case is this, and most of the production use case is this only, where you are going to allow your communication for a virtual machine to talk to the physical network. So I'll go ahead and create external. I'm going to call it vSwitch, and I have a single network NIC installed on this machine. If you have more than one, you can apply that here, and I'm going and click yes. So now this will create one virtual switch. So if I show you here, before I was having Ethernet 01, which you can see here. Now if I go ahead and refresh this, you will see Ethernet 01 is gone from here, and I got one Ethernet vSwitch is the name of my switch, and you can see my IP address configurations are migrated to this virtual switch. And now this is the physical NIC, and on top of this physical NIC we have created this virtual switch, which is going to act as a mediator for virtual machine to talk to outside of the virtual machine physical server. So same thing we need to perform on other server also. So this is pretty much what you do the very first thing before creating the virtual machine on your environment post doing the Hyper-V installation. So thank you for watching, and please subscribe me for more videos, and if you have any query, any question related to this, you can always post me on my given mail IDs. Thank you once again. Bye bye.